Through Law 2124 of August 4th, Congress authorized the Departmental Assembly to authorize the issuance of a stamp for seal for the National University Caribbean campus to guarantee the financing of said institution.
Law 2124 issued by the Congress of the Republic indicates that the Departmental Assembly is authorized to order the issuance of the Pro-National University Stamp or seal for up to 300,000 million pesos for a term of 3 years from the effective date of the application of said law. In this regard, the representative to the Chamber, Jorge Mendez, explained what the benefits for the young beneficiaries will be.
With the creation of this stamp or seal, resources will be received once approved by the Departmental Assembly as an ordinance, which will allow the quotas granted by the National University in the department through the PEAME program, which is where they study 2 semesters in San Andres and the rest in the interior, will have the opportunity for many more young people to have access to higher education at San Andres in the careers of their choice.
Mendez also emphasized that the initiative seeks to provide young people who leave the island to study with a support subsidy.
It's precisely the support of these young people in the cities where they must complement their studies, since we must remember that the university dropout rate of our islanders is high because sometimes it is difficult for families to support a student outside the city.
In accordance with the special allocations of Law 2124, no less than 30% of the seal collection must be used to strengthen PEAMA, and no less than 10% must be used for the scientific development of the university's line of research. For further considerations and other allocations, please refer to the aforementioned Law 2124 of August 4th.
President Ivan Duque sanctioned the law of the Republic that declares the architecture of a typical dwelling in the islands as material and intangible heritage of the nation.
This new law, authored by House Representative Elizabeth J. Pang, seeks to rescue and protect about 200 typical islands dwellings that are still standing and to recover the traditional architecture as well as cultural and ancestral activity. Just as the yards, the construction of boats, the knowledge, skills, and know-how, the development of tourism and cultural enterprises around this tradition, in addition to archaeological heritage in the islands, was also included in the law.
That is what we are looking for, that every day our culture receives recognition due to the contribution it has had in the history of our country. Really what this project will allow is that governments, both ministries as well as the departmental and municipal government, can then establish and create incentives for the preservation and conservation of this skill and know-how, especially of the typical architecture of the archipelago.
With this, the governments were empowered to develop programs to protect the typical architecture of the islands and other related activities.
I want to take this opportunity to motivate and request the national, departmental, and municipal governments to start creating programs that benefit this know-how and skill that really identify our culture.
This law will make it easier for hundreds of islands families who today are owners of typical houses to keep them standing through stimulus and incentive programs.
And after the great impact that the department has had on the economy, where tourism was severely affected, hotel owners are looking forward to their interest of new airlines that will start their flights on the island.
The president of Cotelco San Andres announced that the Association of Hoteliers of the Islands is encouraged by the interest of national and international airlines in the department, as this will increase occupancy rates in general.
An island like San Andres, which is a subsistence island from the point of view of connectivity, deserves to have many options and many offers of air transportation. In this case, we have had an interesting increase of air routes of the different airlines with their itineraries from several cities to the island, which has generated the percentages and the number of tourists that are arriving to our archipelago.
On the other hand, the businessman announced that they have been working hand in hand with the departmental government to improve the tourist infrastructure on the island.
We have been working with the departmental government. We told the governor that we must prepare the island because the segmentation, the quality and number of tourists that will arrive in the archipelago will change with the international flights, and also other airlines will come with national flights.
It is expected that with the increase of airlines with routes in the islands, the number of seats will increase and flight fares will go down, which will benefit residents who have to pay high fares to fly in and out, as well as visitors who will have more options to choose which companies to fly with.
And in other news, the departmental controller announced that next week a National Congress of Comptrollers will be held on the island.
The central theme of this meeting, to be held from August 17 to 21st, will be the care of public resources and the environment.
From the 17th to the 21, we have a special event. We have a Congress from all the comptrollers from the nation of Colombia. 63 of them invited here to be accompanying us. The principal team is the mining of our medio ambiente and the public resources. So we invite us to allow us to be in contact and hear this message because it's very interesting.
On how the community will be able to participate, the controller stated.
Well, we're going to habilitate one link that the community can participate and have interviews with all the expositors that he been there in that time.
This invitation is that the community actively participate in this meeting that seeks that all citizens are integrated in the issues of fiscal control in this department.
And in order to help companies and organizations in the country to digitally transform, the international company Blue Prism has an invitation to entrepreneurs in the archipelago.
The company Blue Prism extends an invitation to all businesses and entrepreneurs in the country, including those of the island, to join the project of automation to companies, where organizations will have the opportunity to solve their needs of their customers through technology. The commercial director of the company provided the details.
How can entrepreneurs benefit nationally and especially for the island of San Andres? Thanks to the automation of processes, they can adapt to any change. We can think that this is very important, for example, for the subject of the islands to do when a customer on the island requires help in cases such as telecommunications or utilities, need to make a payment or need to have direct communication with the company. Thanks to a digital worker, they can find channels of communication with social networks, with chats in WhatsApp, to be able to give solution to the needs of those people who have with a public service or with a banking need, or the issue of asking for help with food orders.
Interested companies will be able to access more information through the company's website and social networks.
And now we continue with a report on the status of the COVID-19 situation in our department.
2 new infections were registered for the island yesterday in the daily report issued by the National Health Institute, totaling 6,760 infections since the beginning of the pandemic. No deaths were reported as in recent weeks. According to the local report, the intensive care unit continues with low occupancy. The national vaccination plan requires 72,187 doses of vaccines applied against the coronavirus in the archipelago. It is important to remember that the vaccination plan continues to be available at the departmental state social enterprise.
And in different cities of the country, there have been captures of citizens who try to bring drugs or settle in the archipelago department. More details as follow.
During this week, the National Police has made several captures of people in the interior of the country which are closely related to the archipelago of San Andres. In the city of Barranquilla, a 47-year-old man was arrested, a native of the island who was requested by court order for the crime of manslaughter. The man was captured when he was trying to take a flight to the department and was taken to the competent authorities. On the other hand, at the Rafael Núñez International Airport in the city of Cartagena, 2 women were captured when they were trying to travel to the department. During the search procedure, the police found in their possession more than 2,000 doses of cocaine and 60 doses of synthetic drug pills, which were camouflaged in their intimate areas. The captured women were left at the disposal of the Attorney General office.
And let's learn about other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
The CORALINA Environmental Corporation provided training to 5 cooperatives in the department with the objective of strengthening their organizational, participatory, and social control processes through the use of conceptual, technical, and methodological tools which allowed measuring the management and execution of projects and the provision of services in a timely manner offered by these cooperatives. Uniformed members of the National Police conducted the campaign Break the Silence When You Witness Violence Against Women in the neighborhood of Ekokal, where citizens were invited not to remain with their arms crossed when they witness acts of violence. During the activity, the hotline 155 was shared. The departmental government, through the Secretariat of Infrastructure, continues to develop works that allow maintaining the drains and rain gutters in conditions to deal with the rainwaters that fall in the archipelago during this season.
Now we continue with the weather forecast for today. The weather forecast for today, August 6, in the coastal area of the archipelago, the sky is mainly cloudy. Temperature is 30 degrees Celsius with winds from the northeast direction with intensities of 23 km per hour. Humidity forecast is of 74% and probability of precipitation is of 12%.